Hello and welcome to Sports Buzz with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you all the sporting action from different parts of the world. In the next half-an-hour, we're going to tell you the latest, what is going on in the world of cricket. We will also get you update on the parole from Pretoria of the run-up leader and a lot more. So first up, let's quickly bring you all the top headlines of the hour. Women's T20 International Series begins from today onwards at Mumbai's D.Y. Patil Stadium. The T20 result will decide the overall series winner of Australia's Women's Tour of India. At Brisbane International, Rafael Nadal enter quarter-finals, currently facing Australia's Jordan Thompson to make it to the semi-finals. And South African former Paralympic star Oscar Pistorius have been released on parole nearly 11 years after murdering his girlfriend. So those were the top headlines of the hour that we are tracing for all our viewers here on Sports Buzz. And to begin with cricket first. Indian women cricket team will take on Australia in the first T20 match of the three-match series at D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai today. Well, after a 0-3 hammering by Australia, the Indian women's cricket team would now look forward to draw an inspiration from their test match victory against Australia. This will be the first meeting between the two teams in T20 format since the 2023 T20 World Cup semi-final, where the Australian team beat India by 5 runs to make it to the finals. Indian men's team victory in the second test match against South Africa has improved India's position in the World Test Championship points table. The Rohit Sharma-led side is now at the helm with 54.16 percentage points, while the Proteas slipped to the second spot with 50 percentage points. Now, this also saw Pakistan losing the 5th spot and slip to the 6th position with 45.83 percentage points. The Indian cricket team capped off the tour to South Africa with a 7-wicket victory in the second test match and squared the series by 1-1. It was a match that belonged to Indian pacers Mohammad Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah, who picked up 15 wickets among themselves. And now to discuss more on this, we have with us Narayan Singh joining us from the newsroom. Narayan, after that historic victory of Team India at Cape Town, we saw so many records in good spirit as well as in bad spirits as well. But now, looking at the World Test Championship ranking, what do you think how Team India is faring across this format?
Deepika, if we talk about the World Test Championship, it's one of the most coveted title on offer in the cricket world, and the third edition cycle is right now underway. And in the previous 2 editions, India played the finals but failed to win the trophy. In the first edition, they lost to New Zealand, and in the second edition, they lost to Australia. So all in all, in both the edition, India played a flamboyant cricket. And if you talk about the first edition, where India was in a position to not play final, but the way they played, the bounce back they made, they went to Australia and defeated Australia on their own backyard, and finally they were there in the final. And this is the beauty of this test cricket, and it gives opportunity to every team, it gives opportunity to every player, because it's a 5-day match. And right now also India, after losing the first test match against South Africa, they were we can say that they were displaced to the number 5th position, and after winning the second test match against South Africa, they were again back on the top. So right now things are going good for India, considering their record in the WTC Championship, and we are hoping that the kind of we can say the players India have right now, they have experienced bowler, they have experienced batsmen, and throughout the we can say in the last 5 years, the kind of cricket they have played, defeated Australia in their own backyard 2 times. This shows that it's a fantastic team, and from here also they can continue their good work, and once again they can go for that coveted trophy.
Now, after that latest test that concluded in South Africa, what are the main takeaways for Team India? What do you see ahead of the World Test Championship? We are in a run-up to it already.
Definitely, always when the Indian team goes to South Africa, the conditions are very tough, and we know that India never won a Test series in South Africa. They drew the series in South African soil, but never won a series in South African soil. So this time it was a two-match series, and we are hoping that this time India will just breach their this final frontier. And chances were there, but in the first Test match again, Dean Elgar came and scored a century and just snatched the Test match from India's we can say jaws. But all in all, it was a golden chance. But in the second Test match, the way India bounced back and just we can say that dismantled the South African side in the first inning for 55, and it was a dramatic Test match. On day one, we saw that 23 wickets fell, and the South African team bundled out for 55, and after that India started their first inning on a positive note. They scored. The Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma played some fantastic cricket and helped India to cross the 150-run mark. And after that, India's 6th wicket fell on 0, and it was a rare feat in the Test cricket. So all in all, after that, India again, the South Africa set a target of 79 runs for India, and it was looking an easy but a dicey also, because considering the situation, the pitch was very lively and the bounce was uneven. In that scenario, we were hoping that it will be difficult, but we know that the kind of batsman we have, it was a very easy ride for India, and easily they chased down and they leveled the series. And because of that, India were there in the top of the table again. The most important thing is that here it's a learning curve for our youngster in this, especially for the Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, because the first Test match also just we can say that winded up inside 3 days, and the second Test match winded up inside the 2 days. So they didn't got too many, we can say, the more opportunity to bat more. All in all, it was, we can say that they can learn from this Test match. They can learn that the conditions when they are in the foreign condition, how to apply themselves, how to, we can say that, adjust according to the condition. On bowling front, we can say that the way the Indian bowlers learned from the mistakes of the first Test match, and they didn't repeat those mistakes in the second Test match. Because of that, they dominated the South African team in their own backyard. So that's why they won the second Test match. In the first Test match, we saw our bowler are trying to go for the swing bowling, but that didn't work. And in the second match, we saw that Mohammad Siraj, that the way he bowled, he used the pitch, the length of the pitch, also we can see the conditions of the pitch, and that's why he just outclassed the South African batsman in the first innings. And after that, we saw that in the second innings, Bumrah again came to the party and took 6 wickets in the second innings. So a learning curve for the Indian batsmen, bowlers, and that's why it will also help them in the coming series.
A very quick question, because you mentioned about the conditions also. In the post-match presser, Rohit Sharma mentioned that he hopes that the people would not blame the Indian pitches now. Now, this is a blazing statement from Rohit Sharma after we know that ICC rated India's pitch in a certain manner, and when we saw Newlands Cricket Pitch Stadium and how it behaved for Team India and South Africa as well, Narayan.
If we talk about the pitches, always we have in the past we witnessed that when the teams coming to India, whenever they are pitching, they are pointing out that these are the rank turners, these are the unplayable conditions. So I think these are the just gimmicks, these are the tricks of the opponents, and we can say that as far as the conditions are similar for both the teams, they are playing on the same pitch, their conditions are the same. We should not blame the pitch, but it should be somewhat like that. The Test match can go at least beyond 3 days. That is more important, considering the fact that the popularity of the Test match is decreasing, and to make it to be there in the hearts of the cricket fans, it should at least be it should at least go beyond 3 days in that sense. So all in all, until and unless the conditions are same for both the teams, we should not make a, we can say that, hue and cry for that thing, and we should not go for to blame anyone in that condition and that scenario. A fantastic cricket was displayed at the Newlands we saw in the second test match, because the most important thing that the test match should be result oriented rather than getting ended into draw or tie. So that was good, but all in all, we should not, as Rohit Sharma mentioned, that whenever teams are coming to India, they are making just pointing out the Indian pitches. It should not be done.
Indeed, and things goes beyond pitches, and it is about cricket in the end. Thank you so much, Narayan, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the latest match and the rankings of Team India at the World Test Championship. Staying on cricket, Australian paceman Josh Hazlewood took 4 wickets for 9 runs to tip the scales towards the home between Australia and Pakistan series. 3 wickets fell in the penultimate over of the day to leave Pakistan reeling on 68 for a loss of 7 wickets with a lead of 82 runs in the third test. Earlier, Amir Jamal took 6 for 69 as Pakistan claimed a slender first innings lead in the third test against Australia on Friday, but the home bowlers hit it right back to leave the match in the balance heading into the final 2 days of the series. Mohammad Rizwan, who had made 6 not out, and Jamal, who had yet to score, will resume on Saturday, looking forward to set Australia at a very imposing 4th innings target on a deteriorating pitch. Abdullah Shafiq's miserable series continued when he was bowled by an absolute jaffa from Mitchell Starc in the first over to make it a pair of ducks in the match. Skipper Shan Masood went on for a golden duck 2 balls later and got behind off Hazlewood as the posty fireworks continued and Pakistan slumped to 1-2. Now, Australia have already wrapped up the series after victories in the first 2 tests in Perth and Melbourne, but are desperate to send David Warner out, a winner at his home ground in the final test. Now, talking about David Warner, Australia's opener, Warner's impassioned appeal for the return of his missing baggy green cap for his final test has been successful, with the rucksack containing the iconic headwear discovered at the team hotel in Sydney. The rucksack went missing in transit from Melbourne to Warner's home city, Sydney, after the second test against Pakistan, and the 37-year-old had to wear a replacement in the field on the opening day of the third test. Warner, in a post, said, and I quote a statement here, "I'm very pleased and relieved that I've got my baggy back in my hands," unquote. Now, Australian international receive the baggy green cap usually from a former player on the morning of their test debut and wear it with pride even as it deteriorates over the length of their career. Moving on in sports buzz, well, South African former Paralympic star Oscar Pistorius has been released on parole nearly 11 years after murdering his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp. Pistorius, dubbed as the Blade Runner for his carbon fiber prosthetic legs, shot the 29-year-old model dead through a locked bathroom door in 2013. He has repeatedly said he mistook Steenkamp for an intruder when he fired 4 shots into the bathroom at his Pretoria home, and he launched multiple appeals against his conviction on that basis. Oscar Pistorius, now 37 years old, spent about 8.5 years in jail as well as 7 months under home arrest before he was sentenced for murder. A parole board in November decided that he could be freed after completing more than half of his sentence. A monitoring official will keep an eye on him until his sentence expires in December 2029, whom Pistorius will have to inform if he seeks job opportunities or moves to a new address. DD India correspondent Ollie Barrett has a detailed report on this. Take a listen.
South African officials confirming in a brief statement that Oscar Pistorius is now at home. What they're not telling us is exactly when that move from prison to home happened, or indeed how, as a result. The fact that he is at home, though, means that the parole has kicked in. He will face a series of strict conditions between now and the end of his sentence in 2029. He will not be able to consume alcohol. He will not be able to give media interviews. Any employment opportunities will have to be run past his parole officer, and he will have to remain in the house, the address that he's given to authorities, for a certain number of hours per day. We are also told that he will have to take part in ongoing rehabilitation programs related to gender-based violence and anger management issues. Now, Oscar Pistorius' release from prison is a huge focus of attention here in South Africa. It is deeply controversial. There are women's rights groups who say it gives exactly the wrong message to be allowing Oscar Pistorius free on parole in this way. South African authorities insist that normal procedures are being followed with regards to these parole conditions and the release from prison, and that Oscar Pistorius is receiving no special treatment at all. It was back in 2013 that he killed his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp, shooting her through a bathroom door here in Pretoria. It came just off the back of the 2012 Games in London, in which he was a huge star at the Olympics and also the Paralympics. There is going to be a huge amount of attention on Oscar Pistorius in the days and weeks and months ahead in terms of how he lives his life here in Pretoria under these parole conditions. Ollie Barrett in Pretoria, reporting for DD India.
And it's now time to take a short break here on Sports Bus, but still to come on Sports Bus. Gundogan's controversial stoppage time penalty earned Barcelona a 2-1 comeback victory. And Paris Olympics Aquatic Centre to run on renewable energy.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching Sports Pass with me, Deepika. Now let's give you tennis updates. Unseeded Rafael Nadal cruised into the Brisbane International quarterfinals with a 6-1, 6-2 victory against home favourite Jason Kubler of Australia. Whereas on the other hand, Jordan Thompson advanced in a walkover against number 4 seed Hugo Humbert of France, who withdrew due to an illness. Now Thompson will face Nadal for the semi-final berth. Number 2 seed Grigor Dimitrov rolled over Germany's Daniel Altmaier by 6-1 and 6-2. Dimitrov's quarter-final opponent will be Australia's Rinky Hijikata. Whereas in women's tie, Arina Sabalenka is through to the quarter-finals with a comprehensive victory over Zhu Lin by 6-1 and 6-0. Victoria's Zizranka upset third-seeded Yelena Ostapenko by 6-3, 3-6 and 7-5 to make it to the last four. And on the other hand, second-seeded Elura Rybakina joined sixth-seeded Azarenka in semi-finals after Anastasia Potapova retired from the match with what appeared to be an abdominal injury. Now, ahead of his quarter-final match, Rafael Nadal said that his objective is to play every match with utmost focus and without worrying about the outcome.
Today, and I mean today, not talking only about today's match, no, today in general terms, you know, every day is a learning again, no, and I need to play every single point, focus. I try to do it because it doesn't matter the result. It's something that I need to to keep doing and learn the game, how to play every single point focus and with the right intensity, because at the end it's something that you lose. You need to get used to the competition again and to understand the moments of the match, to know when you have to push, when you can play a little bit more relaxed. And it's something that today I'm not able to do it. I need to play every single point very focused, and that's the thing that I need to do now, practice that. And then, of course, wins helps to be more self-confident and to spend more hours on court.
Now, Caroline Garcia helped France clinch a spot in the United Cup semi-finals as she beat Malene Helgo in singles and partnered with Edouard Roger Vasselin to win the doubles decider in a 2-1 victory over Norway in Sydney. Now, Garcia and Roger Vasselin beat the pair of Ulrich Aikeri and Casper Ruud by 7-5 and 6-4 in an entertaining mixed doubles decider. The first set was a tight affair until France broke the serve to make it to 6-5 before holding to win the opener and then made the only break for a 2-1 lead in the second set. World number 20, Garcia, earlier survived a second set scare to give France the lead with a 6-2, 6-7 and 7-6 victory over Helgo. In Hong Kong Open, top-seeded Andrei Rublev held off Britain's Liam Brody by 6-4, 7-6 and will meet number 8 seed Arthur Fils of France in the quarter-final rounds. Now, Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut took down 4th-seeded Francisco of Argentina by 7-5 and 6-3. Agut will face Austria's Sebastian Offner in the quarter-final round. Moving on in Sports Buzz, now let's get you updates from the world of soccer. Now, what Girona FC have achieved in the 2023-24 La Liga season till date has generated global headlines. The La Liga side is currently level with Real Madrid at the top of the table, with both the teams having accrued 48 points. But can the Catalan side really win the title? Here's an exclusive report. Take a look.
Girona are ready to upset the La Liga status quo in 2024 as they look to throw down a title challenge to Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. The big three have dominated Spain's top league in the past 2 decades, winning every top flight since Valencia's success under Rafa Benitez back in 2004.
We cannot keep pace with Real Madrid. We do not want to put that label on ourselves. Atleti are 10 points behind us. We are now 20 points clear of Betis, who I think are the first team outside the European sports. So that's how we look at things.
They are level on points with league leaders Real Madrid after first 18 matches, 7 points ahead of Barca and Atletico. Now Michel's team are ready to power on in 2024. Despite not having experience of their rivals, there is a refreshing fearlessness about Girona and they will be test for any team they face in the months ahead. At the start of 2024, Girona are in the mix of a title push with 7 points advantage over Barcelona and Atletico Madrid in the table. Their sole defeat of the season so far against Real Madrid came in September, placed them just behind Carlo Ancelotti's team based on head-to-head record at the beginning of the calendar year. January will be a crucial month for Girona before they travel to Real Madrid on February 11, followed by a trip to Atletico in April and a home game against Barcelona in May. Based on Girona's 10th place La Liga finish in 2022-23, their title tilt is all the more surprising this season, one based on coach Michel relying on a solid core of players.
The objective is, first of all, to take it game by game and try and qualify for Europe, which would already be a success for us. It would be making history, and well, it's true that today it was a really nice game. It was very difficult, very complicated. We did a lot of things well. Atleti did too. So a great match. I think my players have an incredible mentality, resilience. When it gets tough, they try always and push on.
Girona have advantage of no European football in the second half of the season, with their title rivals also tied up in the Spanish Supercopa in January. That allows Michel more opportunity to rest players and keep his squad fresh as the title race steps up. The cold pragmatism of La Liga suggests they will come up short, but a first ever Champions League place is not beyond them, with Sevilla faltering this season. Narayan Singh support for DD India.
Ilkay Gundogan's controversial stoppage time penalty earned Barcelona a 2-1 comeback victory at 10-men La Palmas in an ill-tempered La Liga match. Barcelona moved third in the La Liga standings on 41 points, which is 7 behind Real leaders Real Madrid and Girona. They now face Barbastro on Sunday. The Olympic Aquatic Centre, one of only 2 facilities being built in the Paris region for the upcoming Olympic Games, will run on 90% renewable energy, according to the project president Patrick Ollier. Now, more than 4,000 solar panels on the roof will help heat the pool water, which is up to 27 degrees, and the concave wooden beam structure helps limit the space that needs to be heated and ventilated. And with this, it's now time to wrap up this edition of Sports Buzz for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere, keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.